I appreciate being here today. This is actually a great opportunity. I'm a huge fan of Fix It Fair, and I'm glad I get to share the word about Awesome Foundation today. So I'm going to begin with a couple of videos, but just to preface that, Awesome Foundation is a worldwide network of giving circles. Each chapter, the members, volunteers, donate, in our case, $100 every 2 months, and we then review the applications we get, and somebody walks away with $1,000. Let me start with let me start with a video. Wing, you're going to have to enable screen sharing again.
Gotcha. So, no problem. Hold on just a sec.
No worries.
All right. There you go. Should have it now.
All right. Now, that's a video that's actually from one of our other chapters in Hawaii, but it is a very good thumbnail of the kinds of, the way the Awesome Foundation works. I'm going to share one more video with you that's from another chapter that is a little bit more meat and potatoes in terms of how the process works. Okay, even though we did a dry run of this just literally 5 minutes ago, I'm not.
Alan, I could see the YouTube screen.
Yeah, no, I've got it now. I had the hold on.
Each month, we're able to give away $1,000 to somebody or a group of folks in the community who have a great idea how to make our community, Gloucester, even a more awesome place to live.
We give out $1,000 cash with no strings attached.
I don't know. Yeah, they're just this mystery hero that gives you $1,000 if you have a great idea.
You get a plastic bag full of cash, like a sandwich bag.
Getting this grant enabled us to take it to a whole nother level. It's enabled 1,300 Gloucester Elementary School kids to plant, harvest, and eat salad. every spring. I'm sure that the whole setup cost a little bit more than the grant, but that's what got us started, and that was what the grant was for us to have this system that we could just move from school to school and be really efficient.
I talked to the kids, and we thought we would try to help the elderly population and also the veterans. So we came up with this spring car care where they could come in, have their cars looked at free of charge, and we'd give them a set of wiper blades if they needed it, oil, windshield washer fluid, check the air in their tires, and get them ready for spring.
We get the written submissions, and we have 1 week to vote on them, comment on them, that type of thing.
And we come up with the 3 top vote getters. So those 3 become the finalists, and we invite those 3 to pitch night.
People come in, they have 5 minutes to present.
And they pitch us the idea.
And then we go back into the secret fortress, secluded room, and stand in a circle, literally, and we each get 1 minute to say whatever you're thinking. A lot of times people will change their mind as they're in the circle, and then we go out and announce, there's the $1,000 baggie of cash. As always, it was strong deliberation. If you have an idea that you think will make Gloucester a more awesome, better place to live, come up with your best pitch.
I don't think any idea is crazy. I've heard people come by the stand and tell me what they're up to, and I've told them, I think about Awesome Gloucester. It's a great idea. You might not win the first time, but...
We always encourage people, if you didn't get the $1,000, don't take it as a no. Take it as a just not this time.
It doesn't cost a thing. It probably would take maybe 10 minutes tops to get your application in.
Awesome Gloucester's just a really cool way to get things started locally.
There's so many ideas that don't get let out that I think everyone should just get a chance to see what other people think about it, you know?
Thank you so much. Have a great night, and thank you for coming out.
So that gives you a pretty good thumbnail of what Awesome's about. Each chapter is run a little bit differently. In our case, we do 5 finalists instead of 3. And since in the last 18 months, our meetings have been virtual rather than in person. We're hoping if we can get past this current state of affairs to get back into in-person meetings. That they're a lot of fun. We usually gather in a bar or a restaurant, and people come out and make their pitches. They bring their friends. It's a very festive environment. If you're trying to get a sense of the kinds of applications that Awesome Portland supports, I'd refer you over to our website. I'm going to share, if I can. This is the awesomefoundation.org Portland chapter website. We also have a dedicated awesomeportland.org website. Either one of them is a good gateway for to access the applications and see what it is, what we're all about. But what you see on this page is the winners of the most recent application cycle. The last one was a gal here in Portland. Her name is Brittany Vega, and she runs a project called Sky Exchange, which basically people from around the world, they create flags to symbolize sort of where they're at, where the community's at, and then they exchange them, they swap them around. So by the time it's done, a bit of Awesome Portland gets spread all around the world. In July, we supported a community art night that meets 1 night a week, and folks get together and they do arts and crafts. And another project we supported in July was Projects of Them, which was a video documentary of a person transitioning. Back in May, we supported a group that, or a gal who does a resource application for BIPOC residents of Portland. Also in May, we supported a women's writing project in prison. And in March, we supported the pop-up roller discos. So you can see from that there's really a broad range of what constitutes awesome in Portland. It changes from month to month and from year to year, but there are a couple things in common. Projects tend to be outward looking. That is, they're focused towards the community rather than the individual. The way I like to describe it is that we focus on the we and not on the me. Also, there are a couple of things that Awesome Portland won't fund. Is they won't fund business startups. They're not going to fund your rent or your vacation or purchasing equipment for yourself. But as long as the project has an outward face, that you're doing something to make the community of Portland more awesome, that's the kind of thing that we're interested in. The application itself is relatively straightforward. You can get that on the website. It's basically a one-page application, asks you to tell us what it is you're trying to do, give us a little bit of sense of where it's taking place, the time frame for it. We're looking for projects that are going to be executed sometime in the next 3 to 6 months. If you have a project that's not going to come to fruition for a year or so, we might suggest you apply at a future grant cycle. We also ask for a budget, so we have a sense that you've thought through what it is that you're going to spend your money on. Awesome Foundation grants are no strings attached. There's no reporting back afterwards. So we'll take you at your word that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, but we want to be certain that it looks like you've thought it through. If you're asking for a grant to build a rocket ship to the moon, chances are $1,000 is not going to make that much difference. But if you're doing a mural or sidewalk painting or community garden or any one of the types of projects, we know that $1,000 can make a big difference. And finally, we ask that if you like, to keep us informed of what you're doing, because quite often we're able to leverage our social networks to promote your work and vice versa. Most of the great projects that we get come from people who have received grants, so they talk to their friends. It's also a source of a lot of our trustees. If someone is interested in becoming a trustee and helping us make the decision to give away the $1,000, we're always looking for new people. So that's a pretty good thumbnail sketch of what Awesome Portland is and what it does. With that, I'd like to take any questions that you might have, and also make myself available as a resource if going forward you think of some questions that you didn't think of while we were live. So with that, Wing, I'll pass it back to you to toss me any questions you might have.
Thanks, Alan. I don't see any questions, but I wonder if you can, you said there's a way to get a hold of you if there's an email address or website or anything along those lines.
I will type it into the chat.
Great. And I'll make sure that's shared on our live feed on Facebook as well.
The application is really not that complicated. It is literally just a one-page application, but sometimes folks who have never made grant applications before are a little bit daunted by it, and it's helpful to just have another voice if you're trying to sort it through. Oddly enough, I think the biggest challenge that people have in completing the applications is, one, they don't read the instructions, so they apply for things that we're not going to fund. And the second thing is they don't tell us what they're going to do right away. So the way I describe it is tell us before you sell us. Tell us what you're going to do before you tell us why you're the person to do it and why it's important that it gets done. All of the trustees are volunteers. They all work, with the exception of myself. Everybody's working. And so when we get a lot of applications, it's important that we have a good sense of what people are asking for.